Greetings. Manchester was one of the most creative places in the 80s, and I was involved in every sort of form of creativity in that. Now, the creativity I was involved in was one, grassroots creativity, sound system, bands, playing percussion for DJs, playing percussion in African drumming group, Afro-Cuban group, involved in contemporary dance, Manchester Youth Dance Theatre, experimental with Physical State International. 24/7 Manchester was a very, very creative city. I was involved in fashion. In the grassroots community, we had our own underground creative culture industries because we could not enter the mainstream cultural creative industries of fashion, of dance, of music, of entertainment or leisure. So we created our own. We were bringing artists ourselves, promoting artists from the Caribbean, artists from homegrown artists from London, Birmingham, Manchester. We created events and activities for them to engage in. Very important that we were involved in the underground, and the underground had its own movement. That was then. What we have now, that's been taken over now. What's happened, the modern industrial cities have realized the creative industries, underground and mainstream, made dollars. What they've done now is come to clear up, taking underground practices, and what's happening, we've been squashed out as promoters because we weren't able to expand. So one of the key things in visiting to expand, we want to do festivals. We aren't going to get licensed to do festivals. What's happened is students have come, seen reggae music, for example, sound system was a big thing. We had to do it in our small circuits, our community centres. So this relates to R&B, development of R&B. One of the key things in R&B, when you look at the film Call So Deep, they only had chip-link circuits. They couldn't make loads of money. At this moment, I want to, in my mind, is like a relationship. In my mind now, I'm thinking about Beatles. The modern musicians, PBS stopped them at a crucial stage. In the first 2 years really of their development of their music, PBS wouldn't record their music, and it was enough time for the music to be died in America, so you couldn't reach a wider public. What disheartens me when I think about how much money Paul McCartney makes. Paul McCartney makes a certain amount of money per minute. And still, modern music, Paul McCartney makes a certain amount of money per minute. And still, modern jazz musicians, families are still not being paid money of backlog royalties. I returned to the city with new ideas, new experiences, new knowledge to bring to the soul jazz scene. The soul jazz scene was lost in Manchester in 1986 for a number of reasons. And one of the key reasons, discriminatory practices. We were allowed to have inclusion in the city centre. There was barriers put up for our homegrown DJs from the grassroots communities to come into the city, which had been dominated by the DJs from not only the Western DJs in the city, but DJs from out the city, because Colin Curtis is from Stoke. So the Greater Manchester DJs dominated the city, They had an oligopoly, so other individuals couldn't enter the scene. So in 86, the scene died. Suddenly, why overnight, all them DJs, Western DJs pulled out. Who was supporting them? The major African Caribbean communities who had actually forsaken their venues inside the grassroots communities to come into the city. One of the biggest mistakes that we made. We thought people had integrity to the music and what we brought to the scene, but it proved not to be. For me, I'm going to talk about Colin Curtis, talk about Jan Crow, Martin Johnson, Phil Brett, individuals who tried to freeload, or did freeload, off the back of the work I did. I kept soul jazz dance alive in 1986, Latin jazz alive. The UK club jazz dance style I developed in Manchester and then throughout the north and going up to London and Birmingham. This video is about that, but it's bigger than that. It's about a city where outsiders come and the grassroots communities are squashed and people ride off the back, freeload off the back of the grassroots communities' innovations and enterprise. Because sound system was enterprising, dance groups were enterprising. And when we look back now, some people are dead who innovated. And they died through discriminations. Discrimination to gain opportunities to be better, bolder. Opportunities to realize and release their full potential is one of the key reasons I'm doing this video. How many dancers from the north gain opportunities? I pushed that. Okay. How many dancers from the north gain opportunities to gain sustainable careers in UK club jazz dancing? Or DJs? How many DJs do we have of Black, Asian origins from UK club jazz dancing, from Manchester, who play UK jazz dance music? Wow, I've come back with new thinking. It's to expand people's minds, to make people understand. People had preconceived ideas about African diaspora people before we came into the city. When we came into the city, them preconceived ideas was how people perceived us. So what happened, we brought a social dance into the city. An amazing, phenomenal dance, and developed it into further phenomenal dances. And all we got was disrespect. And I'm here to talk about what UK club jazz dance did for me. It made me be outspoken about social injustices that I have seen in my life. It made me stand up and stand out the crowd for who I am, what I am, and where I come from.